What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. In this one, you can see my phone. What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. In this one, we're talking about Canon and one of their up-and-coming mirrorless camera releases, rumors for it, on a camera that's going to be announced in either late 2020 or sometime in 2021, which is more likely to be the case. And this is the Canon EOS R5C. Now, if you guys are aware of some of the rumors that have come out on this camera, we're referencing Canon Rumors, which is a pretty reliable website when it comes to rumors. Obviously, no website that's rumor-based can have a 100% accuracy rate, just because rumors are rumors. They're not facts. You're getting them from usually a single source, and so they don't always end up being correct. And that's something that I want to reinforce and remind you guys of in this video, that not all of the things we're talking about here are going to be guaranteed. I've definitely been wrong before when it comes to rumors, and I've definitely been very accurate, spot on. So take this conversation with kind of a grain of salt, and let's go forward talking about the EOS R5C. When it comes to Canon's lineup of mirrorless cameras and just DSLRs in general, this is pretty reminiscent, at least for me, of the 1DC, which was Canon's rendition of a 1D lineup, kind of like the 1DX series, orienting it towards video shooters and people who want to make film. Now, it was a very expensive camera, and in my opinion, it was kind of outdated very quickly by the 1DX DSLR lineup. Whether or not you agree with me, I think the 1DC was a bit of a fail, especially because they only kind of just did one and then they were done. They didn't continue that lineup, but we might be seeing it coming back with this new EOS R5C and some similarities between who this camera is marketed towards. So when it comes to the EOS R5C, one thing that we have been made aware of is it's going to have the same sensor technology as the R5, which makes sense because Canon is including this camera underneath the umbrella of calling it an R5 camera, but just slapping the C, short for cinema, on the tail end of it. So it makes sense it's going to have the same sensor technology built inside of it, which hopefully means it will have the same IBIS, and that can obviously be tweaked and updated and fixed through firmware. I'm talking about kind of the shaky, wobbly corners that Canon has. But this sensor is going to come in around at about half the resolution that the R5 has. So that would be 22.5 megapixels. That's kind of an obscure number to me, so I feel like they're either going to round up or down, either up to 24 or down to 20. Or they might even have something like a 22 or 23 megapixel. So I am curious to see what they're going to bring out with that sensor. One of the obvious things to note is that the EOS R6, it has a 20 megapixel sensor. And so the fact that the R5C is going to have more megapixels than that, whether it's 22 or 24, it's still more than 20. Not by a huge amount, but I wonder how that will translate over to low light performance, because with camera sensors, typically, the fewer megapixels that a sensor has, the more likely it is to outperform a higher megapixel camera when it comes to low light performance. The R5C is rumored to be able to record 4K at 120 frames per second with no crop. That's crazy, and that's better than what the A7S III does, and also what the R5 does with their slight crop in on their 4K 120 modes. And I'm assuming, since it would be anywhere from a 20 to 24 megapixel size sensor, that it wouldn't be pixel binning, that they would probably be utilizing the full width of the sensor, but who knows, they might opt to do some pixel binning in that. With its Super 35 mode, yes, this is going to be a full frame camera. Don't worry, don't panic. They're not taking after the C70 sensor. But with the Super 35 mode, you're going to have a 2.8K super sampled image, so nothing crazy to be super excited about. I am curious what this camera's price tag is going to be, and I think that will be what is most helpful in determining whether or not this is a good deal or if it's just kind of a waste of money. But lastly, really good news is that this camera and the camera we're going to be talking about in our next video, the R5S, they're both going to have newly developed heat sink technology. That's just going to mean that both cameras will allegedly be able to disperse heat in a more efficient manner, allowing you to record in higher temperature environments and also in those more demanding modes for a longer period of time. We don't know any of the numbers yet, like we don't know how long you're going to be able to record in what certain degree temperatures, but this is just something to be aware of, that yes, they're going to have a newly developed heat sink technology to address the issues that the R5 and even R6 are kind of cursed with at the moment. I think that would really do a lot for Canon's reputation and saving them some embarrassment, especially at launch and with pre-ordering, because the R5 and R6 did blow a lot of people away on paper, but then once hands-on reviews started coming out, Canon's reputation kind of started falling through the cracks because they weren't completely upfront about that initially. I mean, they were, but they just didn't market it in a very smart and effective way. So I think Canon is learning a lot, especially from their most recent release of the R5 and R6. They're learning from their mistakes, and they're trying to put some technology into these camera bodies, these small mirrorless compact bodies without a fan, that are going to offer hybrid shooters the best of both worlds. And yes, that is a very difficult task to do, because if you're just orienting towards photographers, well, then all you need is high resolution without sacrificing too much low light performance, and fast shooting modes, so having a fast processor. But if you're trying to market towards the video creators, then you got to have a camera that can dissipate heat effectively, and that can have really effective frame rates and do well in low light while taking advantage of 4K. So it's very hard to balance the two, but do expect some improved and upgraded video features in the R5C over the R5 and the R6. However, I do believe it will be lacking the novelty feature of having 8K RAW because, well, if you just look at the facts, a 22 megapixel size sensor is not going to be able to do 8K no matter how you cut it. So that is going to be something that is left out, and I think Canon might be going towards a similar route that Sony has already chosen to take in trying to make an effective 4K camera that can fit the needs of almost any video shooter who wants to have a smaller package as opposed to owning a cinema camera and operating that as their main driver or even as a B cam. So let me know what you guys thought of this video. I will be continuing to put out more information on the R5C as the facts and as the rumors come in. So if you guys want to stay updated with that, please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell for notifications. We upload every Monday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.